Okay, let's see.
That'll just go away.
There we go. All right, start standing. Do your quick check-in. Feet pointed straight ahead. Take a deep breath, fill your rib cage. Check your foot alignment. I'm gonna take off my shoes. Excuse my dirty socks. I want the foot, as long as you're able to get that full amount of work. Feel your toes spread wide. And let's start all the way down at your feet today. Take one foot and bring it forward, just a little bit more forward than the other, and then bend down into that short foot position. Let your knees bend all the way down to the place where your knees can even start to go over your toes. Double check that your back foot is really straight. And then lift your front toes and press them down. And as you are lifting and pressing your toes down, bend more deeply into both legs, really. And then make your shoulders come down your back. Marsha. Lift and press. So ears over shoulders, over hips, over knees, over ankles. Lift and press. And as you press your toes down, get in touch with the muscles that are underneath the back of your calf, even in the back of your hamstring, and maybe even some lateral hip. So as you move this, lift and press. You can feel that through that whole leg. Maybe 5 more. And then switch sides. Double check that the back foot is really straight. Bend deeply into your knees. And then feel that again. Feel what's the boundary of how far your calf will let your knees bend. So feel that first. Remember, muscles don't actually stretch. It's like a chemical release of the spindles between the muscle fibers. And if it's not releasing, then your body is getting a message that it's dangerous to let a joint go too much farther for some reason. So whether that's the alignment of the joint or the condition of that joint, we want to tell your body it's okay to let it have its full range of motion through that muscle. Lift your toes on the front, just the front foot, and press them down. Good. Make your brain do just the front, and then press. Get 20 of those in. And notice what's happening at your shoulders. You may feel clicking or cracking at your back as the skeleton realigns itself up the body. Lift and press. Try to straighten your back foot out even more.
Back this way.
Mm-hmm. And then first side one more time. All the way up, bend deeply into that. Feel the calf muscles stop you and act as a brake. And then let the shoulders line up, ears over shoulders, over hips, over knees, over ankles. Lift your toes and press them down. This exercise is great for anyone that has some kind of rotation different from the right than the left. Whether that rotation is in your ankle or your foot or your shin or your knee or your hip or even at your pelvis or maybe even a shoulder. Funny that we could do this exercise to treat a shoulder imbalance. It's pretty far away from a shoulder imbalance, but we can. Good. Those muscles are connected through the fascia all the way up. Go ahead and switch sides. Bend deeply into that knee again. Feel how far that calf will go. 50-50 weight. Make it even between the two sides. And then lift and press again.
But for me, the only thing that happens here is that this ankle doesn't bend, and that's all I ever notice, and I can't really even stay in this.
Move it. So we have to say, okay, what's happening with your lower leg, that's true, that the bend is
Is there any
restricted.
modification? I mean,
Yeah, because you need that when you're walking, you need to be able to have that range so that you can get that much flexion to be able to pull your
you
leg
think
through.
that just trying to bend like this will eventually
Help open that up. Yeah. Okay, from there, standing arm circles, feet pointed straight ahead. Pull your fingers in, touch your palms, arms at your sides, bring them up. Squeeze your shoulder blades onto your back, pinch them together. Feel both sides. What's happening in your torso? Even wiggle your torso around a little bit for a minute. Just feel like what's happening between the right and left side. Do they come evenly? Is there a little bit of difference between the right and left side? And then keep them squeezed and circle forward, 40 circles. Palms up, squeeze, and backwards. And release. Okay, I want you to access, we just accessed mid-trap and rhomboid. Those are muscles that squeeze your shoulder blades in. Now I want you to be able to push your shoulder blades apart. So I'd like you to use a wall if you can. And you're gonna push against the wall, so press out and make the shoulder blade move off your back. So pressing against the wall outward and then letting your body press into the wall to let that shoulder blade squeeze toward your spine, and then press it away from you again, off your back. Squeeze it in, press it away. So the serratus muscle is one of the muscles that does that. The lat and the deltoid, just by the position of your arm right now, is going to be working. Press off your back, then squeeze in toward your spine.
Kyra, is your arm straight on the wall or is it bent?
Yep, straight arm. So you're looking like this on the wall, leaning in toward the wall, pressing off the wall. So it's going to shift your torso kind of like that from the shoulder blade. And then when you've done about 10 of those, switch to the other side. Again, it's going to look like the wall's right there. Squeeze in, press away. Squeeze in, press away. Feel that retract and protract with a little resistance so that those muscles on the side of your body start to work. Good, and then both hands on the wall, move your arm bones. So that's gonna look like this. Imagine the wall is there. The hand is gonna be in a closed kinetic chain, and the arm bone is gonna rotate like this. So both hands on the wall, like hands against the wall like this, and then move the arm bone, but not the shoulders. So you're just directing that movement into the shoulder girdle itself, or where the humerus goes into the glenohumeral joint. And the shoulder blade has to rotate just a little bit to get your arms up into this position. But once you get it there, let the shoulder blade be stable and just rotate in the arm bone. So should we call these chest openers?
We're making the elbows go out.
Yeah, elbows out, elbows in.
Oh, that helps.
Yep, but shoulders don't really move. And then take your arms up the wall if you've got the wall. So you're gliding them up. You can step all the way into the wall and just glide your arms all the way up and feel your shoulder blades kind of wrap around in toward your armpits. And lift all the way up by your ears. Let them come all the way up, slide up your back, and then drop your elbows and drop your shoulders. Slide them all the way up. Let that shoulder girdle come as high, get as tall as possible. Drop your elbows, drop your shoulders. 8 more. And then release. Come back to your standing position. Now that that upper back is really open, shoulder rolls up, bring it more into your middle back. See if you can move your thoracic back with your shoulder roll. Up and back and around, and just let the spine kind of move like water, flow all the way from the upper part to the lower part. And then forward. And now make your spine stiff. So feel the space between your ribs and your hips get big, and then stiffen that a little bit with the transverse abdominis, and just move the shoulders without moving the spine in one more set of rolls. So we can let the spine be like water, or we can stiffen it and direct the movement right into the shoulder girdle. Good, last one here. Bring your arms up, hands together, bring them out, all the way, wrap around your back, and then all the way in so that they touch. All the way out, mid-back, rhomboid, mid-trap, all active, all the way in, pecs, working, letting your upper back have a little bit of rounding as they come together, all the way open. Once again, middle back, absolutely engaged. 10 more. And release. Come down onto your hands and knees. Cats and dogs, round and arch. And then roll onto your back. Come into an isolated hip flexor lift. So hip flexors, primary hip flexor or psoas, can often be a muscle that is out of alignment, working differently. It can be short and weak. It can be short and tight. It could be short, weak, and tight. It could be strong and engaged. It can be a lot of different things, but let's use it like it's supposed to be used. So up on your toes, make your right leg or your left leg. Let's go left first today. Left leg move slightly away from you. Arms out to the side, and then lift and lower that leg just shy of vertical, and then bring it back down, touch the floor, and lift it up again. Use the muscles in the front of your hip to do the lifting, and find that hip flexor. Let your shoulders relax. Let everything else be stabilized by the floor. Ten more. This is when you should feel some fatigue in that area. And then switch sides. So up on your left toes, right leg slightly away from your body, and then lift and lower off the floor, up and down. When you get to 30, switch sides one more time. And just notice, do you have more fatigue on one side than the other? I do. Left side again, 30 more. And then right side once more, last 30. And then both feet on the floor, stabilize the leg bone, rock the pelvis back and forth, tuck your tailbone all the way under, and then roll it up in a pelvic tilt. All the way down, all the way up. And then bring your legs up. Hold your legs up in that table position. Imagine you have like a board right here. So in Pilates, we would have a jump board, and there would be like balls underneath your feet, little balls. And I want you to imagine you're rolling those little balls on a board, making little circles. So they're little circles with the feet, but it's gonna move all the way into the hip. And remember I said those hip flexors are like whisper muscles? The muscles that stabilize the leg bone and the pelvis are constantly stabilizing the proprioception of the leg bone and the pelvis in the gentle way if they're turned on. But if the secondary muscles are what's working, then those are bigger movers, less precise motion, go the other direction, little, but you should feel the hip flexors working right now, primary hip flexors. You should feel the leg bone in the pelvis and maybe some secondary muscles just stabilizing that. And it's just a little motion. And notice between the right and left side of your pelvis, does it feel the same between the right and left side? If it doesn't feel the same, one thing you could do is go ahead and press your back a little bit more flat and just be more stable between the pelvis and the leg bone. Go the first direction one more time. Now, if that hurts for any reason, if you had a disc issue, then pressing your back toward flat to the ground may not be the right thing for you. You could feel some tingling or numbness down your legs. If you have a little bit of stenosis, maybe it's exactly what the doctor ordered, that little bit of flattening to the floor, really stabilizing between the right and left side of your pelvis. So it depends. You feel what feels right in your body. Go the other way again. Those little circles. You can also, for sure, feel your belly muscles here as they're stabilizing that position. Good. Release your feet. Let your back come back to neutral. And then pull them up once more. I want you to imagine there's like a strap around your leg right here, and that strap is from the top. So you're creating a little resistance from this part of your body as you drop your leg down toward the floor, and then the strap would like help you pull it back up. So into a tabletop, drop one leg to the floor, and then pull it up. And feel your hamstring as you imagine that imaginary resistance you're pressing against, pulling that down, and then coming back up. Hamstring working to begin to extend that hip, and then lift it back up. We also get really good slide and glide in the hip itself, down and coming back up. Once again, the pelvis and the torso is held stable. Notice if you're contracting your shoulders too much here. Don't let your shoulders help you. Really make the hips do this work. Great. Both feet on the floor. Now, active bridges really engage the hamstrings and butt this time. As you lift up, send your knees away from you, and then come back down. Now, this is another exercise we can do a lot of different ways. More Pilates style would be to roll the back down and roll the back up. Feeling that articulation in the spine may feel really good to some people. If you have chunks of your spine or your pelvis that aren't working together, that articulating through each of those joints can bring some better movement. So do a couple like that, rolling down your spine, and back up. And just notice what's happening in your body. If you gently scoot your shoulders a little bit more together, do you have better control through the whole articulation of your spine? And then go straight up and down. Maintain the arch in your back now so that your back muscles stay on a little bit. And just go straight up and down, letting your butt hit before your back. And that would be more of a hip hinge and less lumbar spine movement. Both of them have their place. They're both tools we can use. Feel what feels great in your body today. Five more. Excellent. Roll to your side, come back up to standing, and grab your block. You got it. Okay, take your feet into your spread foot forward bend. Now you decide what's right for you today about bend in your knees or straight legs. Kind of like that pelvic tilt, we can have different access to different things. If you are tight in your hips, please bend your knees as you start this so that we take the hamstring out of it a little bit and we focus more on the position of the low back and spine, and we're in that big hip hinge. And just take it into a spread foot forward bend there. And you can not have your block and move your head toward the floor. That would be fine. As your hips open and move all the way in the back of the hip, you can get more vertical, getting more straight up and down in your spine. If that feels like, oh, I don't have a lot of movement in the hip or the spine, just stay there and breathe. If you feel like, yeah, I've got a lot there and I can straighten my legs more and put a little more pull on the hamstring, then you can tighten the front of the knee and use more hip to pull you down. So feel where you are today and where your body wants to go. And then walk yourself over to your right foot. Really bringing that left arm over. Breathe between the hip and the shoulder. Second side. Just notice once again, is there a big difference between one side and the other? Back to the center. As more of your hips engage around the crease of your hips, the more maybe your shoulders can just really let go. And come up, use your block, and let's slowly begin to go into a side-to-side lunge. So taking it down to one side, letting the tissues all move and slide and glide through that action, and then up and over to the other side. Just go to whatever level, maybe you're right here today, and that's fine. The adductors get to lengthen, telling your body that we need this full range of motion, not to shorten so much that it's not needed anymore. Yeah, open up that space. And then pay a little bit of attention to what's happening in your back as you go down. Does your back want to really round, or can you actually keep your back pretty straight as you move into that? If the back can stay pretty straight, then the hip and the butt muscles get to open. One more time each side. It's okay if your heel comes up for now. You can also work your heel more down to the ground. Just gently move. Good. Back to that spread foot position once more. See if opening up your hips, let your hips engage a little better, and maybe you can even come more into that. Maybe interlace your hands behind your back and open your shoulders. And then use a hip hinge. So squeeze your feet towards each other, find your adductors, and then use your butt muscles to pull you all the way back up. And walk it in. Nice. Okay, come into your hands and knees again. And let's do a little bit of stabilization in our trunk. So we found this new range of motion. Now, find your hand leg opposite lift. And today, be a little mindful that your belly doesn't just drop, but go ahead and take your arm and your leg up as high as it will go and connect through the fascia that is connecting your left shoulder and your right hip on your back. And then other side, take it up. Switch. Now, if that produces any pain, this is a place where, once again, you can pay attention to your own body. If that extension maybe extends in one place, and when you do that, you're like, ooh, that doesn't feel so good to me, then use a little bit more abdominal control to hold that stable. Maybe don't go so high. If that actually feels great, like, ooh, I can reach my butt, you could even pull it in, work your hand toward your foot, try to get a little closer. Many variations, just feel what your body wants to do today. How much movement can it take? Excellent. Now this will be a little harder for those of you that don't have slippery floors, but go ahead and take your right leg out to the side and just swing that leg up as high as it'll go. You can sit back a little bit into that hip and then back around, all the way around and cross that knee and just gently bend back into that. So that's a big, flowy, active movement. Out, around, all the way up. Sit back a bit, feel that adductor again. Around, in. That changes the position of the pelvic floor and your butt muscles and the leg muscles, big and wide, and a little sit back and around and in. Nice. Switch sides. Out and around and up as high as you can. Sit back a bit. Adductor and around. Down, tuck that knee. Butt muscles. Wide. And then back to hands and knees. Take your leg out to the side. Let's do fire hydrants today. So back to stabilizing and then lift that leg up, get it parallel to the floor and back down. Strong arms, strong hands, strong fingers. 20 lifts. And then second side. And then cats and dogs once more. And then come onto your plank on your elbows, tuck your toes under, and hold. Find your thigh muscles, find your belly muscles, feel the muscles underneath the armpit. Those serratus, a little bit rounded in your back. Find the balance there, hold and breathe. Build some endurance into your postural position here. Head in line with shoulders, in line with hips, in line with knees. If you're okay to be stiff as a board and rotate up to one side, go for it and hold it up there. Side arm bridge. all the muscles around your shoulder having to stabilize that position in your spine being straight up and down. If there's any scoliosis, this is a great one for you. Back to stable, other side. Hold it up there. You might notice you have one side that does that more easily than the other. Warming up the muscles around your shoulder girdle. Back to plank. And then come down. I am going to have you go up into a downward dog on your elbows. So if this doesn't work for you, you could do a regular downward dog up on your hands. If you can handle this, you can do this with knees bent. And the goal is to tuck your toes under, pull your chest down toward the floor, and then keep walking your hips up over your shoulders. Keep pulling back with your upper body, so that upper body really has to work to open. Hips staying high to the sky. Knees can be bent here. Yeah, you could just play here also and just do a little bit of a rocking back and forth just to get the muscles around the shoulder to be working and stabilizing. These side muscles that might have helped us swing from a tree or something before, but they just don't get very much work when we sit at a computer, or they work a lot when we're on our bikes, but they don't work and move at the same time. So they just get strong and stiff in that bike position. So either way, good. Come on down wherever you are and roll onto your back. Foot circles, point flexes. Nice work. So both legs out straight to start. Feel your thigh bones come down toward the floor and your pelvis come into a neutral position. So maybe feel the front bones of your pelvis. Are they even, or does it feel like one sticks up more than the other? What do you do to get that as even as possible? Does that mean one side needs to tuck under a little bit more? Maybe you could do a quick pelvic tilt to just go to flat and then let that come to neutral. Feel what your hip flexors are doing, those muscles that go from the back to the front of the leg. And then pull your left leg up, tuck your shoulders underneath you, and circle your foot all the way around. 20 circles. Reverse. Point and flex. And switch. Circle. Reverse. And point and flex. And then come up to seated. Going into a Quadratus Lumborum stretch, a QLO stretch. So take your legs wide. Now, if this is a difficult position for you to just get in at all, like your back is rounded and your hamstrings are tight, fold one leg in so that it's a little bit more gentle on your body, and use this folded leg to push down into the floor. If this is pretty easy for you, then go ahead and keep your legs out wide. And then take it up and over. And breathe into this whole side of your body. Push your ribs to the sky. Open up that space. Find breath. Feel this whole side of your rib cage open. Switch. First side again. Keep both butt cheeks on the ground as best you can, thighs tight, open that space. And second side. Just notice, how's the difference? You can see I have one side that's much tighter than the other. And come on up. Excellent. Bring your legs in. Come to kneeling. And place your block between your ankles. So in my body, I tend to have a pelvic disparity that shows up, a hip that does something different on one side than the other side. So working in this position is really great for taking that out for me. You have to tell me how it feels for you as you do it, but the pull on the hips forces the length of some of the quad muscles that like to get tight in my body in a different way. So being able to be here, find my glutes, which because of the tightness in this leg often don't activate very well on one side. So this gives me kind of direct access right into those butt muscles. So squeeze and release the block with your feet. And see if you can find muscles deep in your hips that help to stabilize the head of the femur and the butt muscles. Interlace your fingers, flip your hands over, take it all the way up. And let your body reach all the way up to the sky as much as you can. Push your elbows as straight as possible. Bring your ears back over your shoulders and look up. And just engage the muscles through the back of your neck, through the back of your body. Relax your stomach. If your hips have to stabilize, you can squeeze that block still at your ankles, finding those glutes. That should open up any bit of difference in your upper back. Have it top all the way down to the space in your butt, behind your knees, even your feet. And release. Excellent. Release your block. And let's go all the way up to standing. Let's do a little bit of balance work today. Stand on your right foot, hold your left leg up, and move your block around. Reverse it. And then hold it. Make a circle around your shoulders or around your head. Bring that leg back, still balanced, but do it more as a hamstring curl. Reverse that circle around your head. Feel the back of your leg, that hamstring, working to pull that back. If that put too much of an arch in your low back, then pull your belly in just a little bit. Tuck your tailbone. Feel that front of the hip open. And release. Second side. Around your back. And reverse. And then around your head. Reverse. Curl that back hamstring. Getting around your head. Find that knee pressing straight down to the floor. Belly in, tailbone down. And another way. And set it down. One more, just down to the floor and back up. Find your balance. Reach over, touch the floor, hip hinge, coming all the way back up. So this part of your body really stable, letting your butt muscles control both the down and the up. Switch. And then just check in and feel that. Check this, Kathy. Check your first position. See if you feel like, oh, I've got a little more range of motion, a little more give. Anything really hurts right now. The leg up, the ankle up. nervy or muscular? Yeah. Okay. From here, go ahead and come into whatever position you want for short meditation, lying down or seated. As you come into this position today, go ahead and close your eyes. And one way to find a single point position is to allow the eyes to gently move upward to the place that would be the third eye, that kind of spiritual sense between your eyebrows. So it's a just soft lift. You can try that if you want to. And then I want you to squeeze everything. So go fully into the contraction of your body. Tighten all the muscles, wrists, face, hands, legs, squeeze it all in. Go into the contraction and then feel the expansion happen. Do that one more time. Hug in, squeeze in. Contract, fully contract, maybe even round a little bit. Contract, contract, contract. And then expand. And as you expand, allow your sensory perception to also expand past the boundaries of your body. Tune into your physical body and your breath. Your bodies that expand outward, wisdom body, emotional body, sensations that are beyond the physical body, and just let that all be sensations arising in this space of awareness. Notice if you're efforting in any way and see if you can soften the effort. There's no effort to be that which you are. If something arises in this space, just simply let it go. Your attention to your being is the most basic aspect of you paying attention to you. Again, gently allow breath to move in and out of the body. anything that's arising in that space. Simply witness what is arising. Shift into your heart vibration. Step back, drop back one more time from anything that's arising around your head. Shift into your heart space. And just notice the subtlety of the difference of that vibration. As you pay attention to your being, you can also pay attention to just how remarkable it is that we exist here in this space at this time. And that it's a privilege to be here in a physical body and to be able to do the things we need to do in our life. And when you pay attention to your being, it can help make your life better. It can help us have more compassion, more love, more understanding, more empathy. It can help us move in the world with more intention, more care for one another. Just let that heart vibration flood through you one more time. Let it be amplified by the rest of this community. You can just expand that to whatever version you want, your body, your house, our town, the state. Go big, go for the world if you want to. Just feel that vibration be as big as this amazing thing that we can be here in our body at this time in this space. Take a deep breath and bring that fully into your body and let it heal any cell, any shift, anything that needs healing in your own body. Take that beautiful heart vibration and just let it radiate from the inside outward. All those cells in your body that are like little batteries of energy, charge them up. Let that charge create the healing that you need to feel awesome today. And go ahead and come around. Take a minute to visit if you like.